Yo, what it is, man? It's your boy, Boxing Knowledge, man. Gotta put my opinion on this Keith Thurman situation with Mario Barrios. But what do I know? So let's get into it. All right, so you know we got the February 5th. We got February 5th. We have Keith Thurman, the return of Keith Thurman again against Mario Barrios. A very nice card. Though I can't talk about this without bringing up the fact that I don't understand why this shit is on PB. I mean why this shit is on pay-per-view. I love PBC. I love Al Heyman. I think PBC gets a lot of unnecessary hate, but the fact that this is on pay-per-view, I'm not feeling that, because you have not only two fighters that's coming off of a loss, but you have one fighter that's coming off of a long inactivity. But nevertheless, we got the return of Keith Thurman. First and foremost, before we get to the main event, we got Neri versus Carlos Castro. I don't know much about Carlos Castro. I keep it very 100 on my page, on my channel. But Neri's coming, if I'm not mistaken, and let me fact check, but I think he's coming off of the brenda figueroa loss, if I'm not mistaken, in May. Let me make sure, though. I don't want to lead you guys the wrong. And this is the thing about my channel, man. I know I'm new to this, but y'all will learn. It'll definitely become times where I make mistakes. If I make mistakes, y'all correct me. Cool. We, get corrected, move on. I'm not perfect. I know a lot about boxing. I'll give you my history on this sport and how I became involved in it. And I've competed, for damn near half my life. We human. So you got Neri, who is indeed, yes, coming off of the brenda figueroa loss. I actually picked him to beat brenda figueroa, but brenda figueroa is a tough guy, man. I wasn't expecting brenda figueroa to come out as good as he as he is. A lot of people, some people can argue that, well, some people will argue that he won against Stephen Fulton, but I thought Cool Boy won that fight. But nevertheless, we got Abel Ramos. I think he's coming off of a loss against Yordenis Ugas, if I'm not mistaken, or I know he's lost to Yordenis Ugas against Josecito Lopez. Lopez once being in there with Keith Thurman, get kind of buzzed Keith. Actually, he hurt Keith Thurman, but lost. That was in January of 2019. Lost by majority decision. We have Leo Santa Cruz, who has not been in the ring since October of 2020 against Tank Davis. We all know how that happened, how the fight played out. Leo Santa Cruz, very, very good fighter. He put up a very good fight against Tank Davis. But Tank being Tank, man, that one punch, boom, it was out. He was out. So it's the return of Leo Santa Cruz. And then we have the return of Keith one-time Thurman against Mario Barrios. Barrios also, like Leo Santa Cruz, coming off of a Tank Davis loss. He is not as vicious as Leo Santa Cruz. He actually, I think he was possibly, I think he was ahead going into the 10th round. I know he got stopped in the 11th round against Tank Davis. Against Keith, so going against Keith Thurman. It's a very good fight. I'm not mad at the fight. I'm not mad at the fight at all, man. I like the fight. I think it's a good comeback fight for both fighters. I just don't like it being on pay-per-view, but I've already stated my feelings about that. So, I just wanted to touch on Keith Thurman, man, and the history of Keith Thurman. The thing about Keith Thurman that irritates me is just the fact that, Keith has so much potential at one particular time. Keith Thurman was that guy, man, and it kind of hurts to know that, man. I don't want to say wasted. A lot of people have this thought to say a fighter like Keith Thurman, or they even use it with Adrian Broner. Oh, he wasted his career. You guys got to understand, these guys come from nothing. When you come from nothing, everything that you gain is a bonus. So he didn't waste his career, because had he not been boxing, he wouldn't have got as far or as successful financially that to the financial success that he's gotten to, he wouldn't have got there if it weren't for boxing. So you can't say his career was a waste, because everything that he's done is a bonus on top of his life. Like, especially a fighter like Adrian Broner. I don't mean to get off the subject. I know this is about Keith Thurman, but I'm just using it as an example. We often hear people say like AB wasted his career. No, he didn't waste his career. He might have wasted his talent, but he didn't waste his career because, or he didn't, because everything that he's gained, the dude comes from nothing. So everything he's gained is a bonus to his life that didn't have to happen. Now, we could say he didn't live up to the full potential. I would actually like to say that better. He didn't live up to the full potential, and that's what I'm gonna use with Keith Thurman. Keith Thurman didn't live to the full potential of his actual career. Man, this dude was at one point like the #1 welterweight, and then he had people avoiding him. And it just seemed like two things happened after the Josecito Lopez fight. In 2015, I think it was July 2015, once he got that body shot, like Keith Thurman, like I remember that year, like I remember it being like November, and I'm like, damn, I ain't heard nothing from Keith Thurman, no interviews, no nothing. It's like Keith Thurman just got quiet, and it also seemed like the more we heard from Earl Spence, the less we heard from Keith Thurman. Now, but that's just my opinion on that. It's crazy because like I also think that Keith Thurman, I really think that Keith Thurman could have been the front runner of the welterweight division right now had he would have stayed on track. He was frustrating a lot of fighters with his inactivity, like Sean Porter. Everybody knows the little infamous meeting they had when they got into it, and Sean Porter was telling the truth. It's like, man, you holding up the division, like, and so it just irritates me. So after 2015, ever since 2015, Keith Thurman has only been fighting like once a year, if that. Like he fought Luis Collazo. After that next year, if y'all remember, he was actually supposed to fight in March of 2016, but then he ended up fighting in like June of 2016 because he had like that injury from the little fender bender he got into. But he fought June of 2016 against Sean Porter. After that, he fought March of 2017 against Danny Garcia. We didn't hear none from him 2018. 2019, he came back and fought January against Josecito. Then July, he fought against Manny Pacquiao, and of course he lost. That point right there, I knew that Keith Thurman was never gonna be the same, because it's like, bro, you should have been fighting at least 3 times that year. January, July, you could have fought in December. First thing he do after he lost, he says, I'm gonna take a vacation. I'm gonna go on vacation. And it was just like, man, for what? And we have not heard from Keith Thurman since, up until this point. That was 2019 when he fought Pacquiao. We ain't heard from him in 2020, and he's not fighting 2021. He's fighting now against Marrio Barrios. I kind of think that Keith Thurman has like put himself in a situation where it's almost like he has to win. And I hate to use that. I hate to put the scenario with the fighter, but it's like, the thing is that gets me is like Keith Thurman, he's just kind of backed into a rope, because it's like, man, he's so inactive, and that's what is going to cost him. If he loses, it's like, man, people going to be like, man, Keith done. We don't want to hear from you because we don't even talk about him now. So I think it's a good fight for both fighters. I think Keith Thurman pulls it off, but I think Marrio Barrios being with Virgil Hunter gives him a tough fight. Let me know what you guys think, man. I look forward to it, but pay-per-view, nah. But nevertheless, man, I don't think this should be on pay-per-view, but like I said, I think it's more of a do or die for Keith Thurman, more so than Marrio Barrios. I'll give you a breakdown of the fight the closer the fight gets. This is not a breakdown. This is just my thoughts on the fight. But I think it's more of a do or die for Keith Thurman, simply because because of his inactivity, if Keith Thurman loses, and that's the thing with boxing, a lot of people don't understand. Like, see, it's just like a domino effect in boxing, bro. These guys fight so less, which makes a loss much more significant, rather than if they fought more. If these guys, and I get it, boxing is a brutal sport. I wouldn't mind. I say a fighter should fight 3 times a year. Two big name fights, 1 soft touch. And it's like, and I know how, the business, it doesn't always work like that. But I'm just saying, because the reason why Keith Thurman is a prime example, and I'm glad we're speaking on Keith Thurman. Keith Thurman is the reason why a loss is a lot more significant in today's time in boxing, where you have these boxers that fight once a year, or in Keith Thurman's situation, once every 2 years. This dude is 29-1. Now, should he lose, which I don't think he will lose against Mario Barrios, but should he lose against Mario Barrios, it's like that's just two loss. That's just two loss on his resume. A pair of losses on his resume, and already people are saying, dismissing him, basically like, nah, he need to retire. And that's why a loss in today's time is much more significant, because these fighters are so inactive, and these guys are not selling themselves like the way, like at least not you're not selling yourself. So let me know what y'all think, man. Your boy is out.